What if the moment everything changed didn't start with a war, but with a presence? In One Piece Chapter 1180, Elbaf is no longer just a land of giants. It becomes the stage for something far more unsettling. The arrival of IMU doesn't feel like the entrance of an enemy, but the descent of a force that was never meant to exist in the open. The air grows heavier, the surroundings distort, and without warning, the balance of power begins to collapse. This isn't just another clash of strength. It's the unveiling of something far deeper and more dangerous. As dark flames ignite and reality itself seems to bend, a new kind of power steps into the light, one that blurs the line between destruction and revival. And at the center of it all stands IMU, not merely as a ruler or a fighter, but as the very omen of a catastrophe that has only just begun. Oh yeah, so we can keep interacting and making the anime storytelling world even more fun together. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and drop your thoughts in the comments to keep the vibe going. Alright guys, let's jump straight into the discussion. Let's go. Picture a moment when the sky over Elbaf suddenly feels off, like something has arrived, not as a visitor, but as a sign of impending ruin. In One Piece Chapter 1180, IMU's presence instantly changes everything. It's not just the giants who fall silent. Even the surroundings seem to warp, reacting to a dark aura that's impossible to explain. From the very first second, it's clear this isn't just another fight. This is the beginning of something much bigger. In an instant, a long-hidden power is unleashed without limits. Each attack hits with devastating force, while the mysterious black flames known as Omen reveal a far more terrifying side, an ability that seems to blur the line between destruction and revival. In the middle of all this chaos, one thing becomes obvious. Elbaf is no longer just a battlefield, but the main stage of a disaster that has only just begun. Chapter 1180 opens with an intense, ominous atmosphere. IMU has finally descended upon Elbaf, specifically the Western Village. The moment this mysterious figure arrives, they immediately ask the giants about the whereabouts of their king. But the response they get is cold. Bragi steps forward, boldly questioning IMU's identity, while Dory firmly states that Elbaf doesn't recognize the concept of a king the way IMU implies. The situation shifts instantly when IMU notices Sommer, who is being restrained by Gert. Without wasting a single word, IMU moves. In the blink of an eye, they dash forward at a speed nearly impossible to perceive. With a precise and brutal strike, IMU attacks Gert using a spear. The impact is devastating. Gert's thumb and index finger are severed instantly, and Sommer is freed, dropping to the ground. Seeing this, Hadrudin is immediately consumed by rage and charges at IMU without hesitation. But IMU responds just as quickly. At that critical moment, Stanson suddenly pushes Hadrudin away and takes the attack alone. The result is severe. Stanson loses one of his legs instantly. Watching all of this unfold, Zoro is pushed to his limit. In a burst of fury, he unleashes his Santoryu technique, In-Onigiri, delivering a full-powered slash toward IMU. But it doesn't even shake them. Casually, IMU blocks it using nothing but their tail, then forms a small black flame in the palm of their hand, a technique called Omen. Without hesitation, IMU throws the black flame straight at Zoro's head. The impact feels like a bullet. Zoro collapses instantly, blood streaming from his head. And it doesn't stop there. IMU uses the same technique on Hadrudin, triggering a massive explosion that slams into the giant's body. At this point, IMU's form becomes clearer. The floating black ring with eyes behind them isn't just decoration. It's a manifestation of those black flames. Then, IMU creates another omen. But this time, it's not used to attack. Instead, it's given to Sommer. The effect is immediate. Sommer, who was previously helpless, suddenly recovers completely. After that, IMU spreads massive black wings and lifts off, heading toward another battlefield. The tip of the spear shifts shape, transforming into something like a cannon. From it, IMU fires black flames that take the form of eerie creatures, complete with eyes and mouths, aimed straight at the frozen mass where Gung is located. Another massive explosion erupts on impact. Without slowing down, IMU moves again, this time approaching Killingham and granting him the power of Omen. Just like Sommer, Killingham recovers instantly. Seeing this, Sanji wastes no time and launches a powerful kick at IMU. But the outcome is no different. The attack is effortlessly stopped, this time simply with IMU's foot. What's even more striking is IMU's sheer presence, portrayed on the same monstrous scale as figures like Kaido, Big Mom, and Kuma. After blocking the attack, IMU spins and counters with a kick infused with black flames. The impact triggers yet another massive explosion. Amid all the chaos, Loki finally steps onto the battlefield. His arrival immediately catches IMU's attention. IMU reveals that they've been searching for the one responsible for killing their subordinate 14 years ago. That statement instantly sets Loki off. With visible anger, he declares that Harold was never IMU's subordinate, but his father, the former king of Elbaf. Tension spikes as confrontation becomes unavoidable. Loki stands directly before IMU and firmly claims that he is the one IMU has been searching for all this time. As the chapter reaches its final moments, IMU coldly states that much suffering could have been avoided if Loki hadn't been there. But Loki doesn't back down. With unwavering confidence, he asserts that Elbaf is his home, and he'll make sure those words are etched into IMU's mind. The chapter closes at its peak tension. In this chapter, IMU is clearly portrayed as a being on an entirely different level. Not only do they overpower Zoro and Sanji with ease, but they also showcase a unique ability through the technique known as Omen. What makes it even more intriguing is that Omen isn't just an offensive move. The Black Flames can both injure enemies and restore allies, as seen with Sommer and Killingham. The name Omen itself carries deeper meaning, generally referring to a bad sign or the beginning of something dreadful. When combined with IMU's appearance, horns, tail, black wings, and an aura that distorts the surroundings, it strongly resembles a demonic entity. Especially in the world of One Piece, where concepts like devil fruits and religious symbolism already exist, it's no surprise that many readers are starting to associate IMU with the idea of a devil or a force of large-scale destruction. The term Omen even brings to mind The Omen, a classic film centered around the rise of the Antichrist as a sign of impending catastrophe. Considering how Eiichiro Oda often draws inspiration from mythology, religion, and film, it's likely that the use of the term Omen is intentional. It's not just a technique name, it's a symbol. A signal that IMU's very existence marks the beginning of something far greater and far more terrifying. Looking deeper, the oppressive atmosphere in this chapter feels deliberately crafted around the idea of a bad omen itself. IMU's arrival in Elbaf doesn't feel like the entrance of a typical powerful enemy. It feels like the descent of something unnatural. From the very beginning, IMU is depicted almost like a demonic being, surrounded by a dense dark aura that continuously engulfs their body. Even the environment reacts. Everything around them appears warped, as if reality itself is bending and shifting into something that belongs to darkness. Interestingly, once IMU leaves, everything slowly begins to return to normal. This detail, combined with the black flame technique, Omen, which can both destroy and revive, reinforces the idea that IMU represents a dark entity whose presence signals the beginning of something massive and dangerous. If you take it a step further, IMU's power clearly goes beyond simple physical attacks. Its influence extends to the environment itself, as if space and matter can be distorted by its presence. The black flames don't feel like ordinary fire either. They come across as a dense manifestation of dark energy, something capable of blurring the line between life and death. In other words, this ability feels less like a conventional combat technique and more like the authority of a demonic entity. There's also a compelling theory suggesting that IMU's black flames are somehow connected to the mother flame. The reasoning behind this is quite solid. The concept of the mother flame was previously introduced in Mary Geos, and every time IMU displays overwhelming power, whether during transformation or while attacking, it's always accompanied by massive explosions. The same pattern appears in Elbaf, where IMU's black flame attacks trigger large-scale destruction. But that's not all. The revival effect seen on Sommer and Killingham doesn't feel like ordinary healing. Instead, it resembles the reactivation of something that had stopped functioning. This becomes even more convincing when considering Sommer's body, which is suspected to contain mechanical components, making the scene feel more like restarting a machine than healing a living being. From this perspective, the black flames might not be simple fire or a curse, but rather a hybrid form of energy, a fusion between IMU's own power and the energy of the mother flame. That would explain why the effect varies depending on the target, annihilating enemies with explosive force, while also restoring or reactivating fallen allies. Even so, the connection between the black flames and the mother flame remains just a theory for now. However, there's one detail that stands out. IMU never displayed abilities like this in the past, such as during the God Valley incident. It's only after the introduction of the mother flame concept that these powers are clearly shown in Elbaf. This suggests that what we're seeing might just be the beginning of something much bigger. Moving forward, this development is definitely worth watching closely. If the theory turns out to be true, then IMU's power isn't just about dominance in battle. It's tied to a mysterious energy source capable of shifting the balance of the entire world. So in conclusion, IMU in this chapter is portrayed as a threat on an entirely different level. It's not just about overwhelming physical strength that can easily defeat Zoro and Sanji, but also about strange abilities like Omen, which can both destroy and revive its targets. The dark aura, the environmental distortion, and the almost demonic presence all reinforce the idea that IMU is more than just a powerful enemy. They represent the beginning of a massive catastrophe. At the same time, the possible link between IMU's power and the mother flame makes everything even more intriguing. If the black flames truly are a combined form of energy, then IMU doesn't just wield destructive force. They control a mysterious power that influences life and death itself. That means the conflict ahead won't be just another battle. It has the potential to escalate into a global-scale threat far beyond anything seen before. Thanks a lot for sticking with this breakdown until the end. If you got any questions or thoughts, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Thank you so much for sticking with the story till the end. If you have any questions, feel free to write them down in the comments section below. Thanks again for watching, and see you in the next one.